In this video, I'm going to show you how to create a new theme using the createTheme utility function. This function is essentially the core piece of functionality within all of the theme management tools that I've created here. So we're going to create a new theme very easily and quickly using createTheme. So the first thing I would need to do in order to create a new theme is create the theme file itself. I want the theme to be red, so I'm going to create a new file called red.js. And you see it sits amongst the other themes we have. I have some code here I'm just going to paste in and explain. So I've imported createTheme, of course. I've imported the parameters that I need to pass createTheme in order to create this new red one. I've exported an empty object called redThemeOutput. Obviously, that has no CSS variables in it right now because createTheme needs to generate those. And we haven't run it yet, so it won't have those variables. And then from the file, like all of our other themes, where the default export will be the output of createTheme. So this hasn't been created yet, so let's create the parameters for this new red theme. So I'll go over here to constants under utils, and first I'm going to add a logging color for the new red theme. This is just the color of the text that will be logged in the console when scripts are run related to theme management. So anything that has to do with the red theme will be logged in red. It's just easy color coding. Next, I'm going to create the parameters themselves. So let's look at what these, what's the shape of these parameters for createTheme. So createTheme expects a createTheme params flow type. It's an object with three properties: colors, fonts, and config. Let's look at colors. So this is the meat and potatoes of what you need to fill out in order to run createTheme. It's expecting a background with primary and secondary colors, a border color, an error color, a focus color, and then a text object with primary and secondary keys. All of these are strings. All of them should be color codes. So it could be a hex value, or it can be an RGB or an RGBA. As long as it's a string and it's a color, you will get an output. So let's create, well, first let's look at theme fonts as the second one. This is going to look pretty familiar, as we already call the different fonts in Daedalus these terms: black, bold, heavy, light, medium, mono, regular, semi-bold, thin, ultra thin. Nothing's changed there. And when creating a theme for Daedalus, it's probably a good idea to just keep the defaults, which you'll see in a minute. And then the config property, which is an object. This is after the theme output object has been filled with CSS variables. This config property will take that value of the theme output and use that instead of generating new ones with createTheme, because once they already exist, you don't want to constantly replace what you've already generated if you're happy with it. So as of right now, we're going to create this object that will eventually go in here. And that's the theme output object. So the return object of the createTheme utility function. All right. So here are the params for the red theme. Notice that I'm only passing colors. If you don't pass fonts, it will use the default fonts. And that's what I want. And then as for config, like I said, we don't have any variables generated yet, so that's empty. All right, I want it to be a red theme. So this is the first thing I looked at. Background. I want it to be a mix of like a red and white. So I've got a primary color of this off-white color, and then the secondary is red. It just turns out to be the same red as the error. You'll notice that all of our themes have the same color for the error. And that's fine. I actually like this color of red, so I've used it as the secondary background color. And then you'll notice in text, it's got also a primary and secondary color. So if you're looking at the background.primary color, this text.primary is the text that will be rendered on top of background.primary. So these should complement each other. And then the same goes for secondary. The parts of the wallet where the background is the secondary color will have text rendered as text.secondary's color. So these should complement each other as well, secondary and secondary. And then you pass an error color, a border color, and then the focus color for your inputs, select components, and so on. Okay, that's created. Now I'm going to add it to our array of existing themes. And I'm going to call it red.js because that matches the file name, red.js, and save. Let me also save this file. Reopen that, and you see the error is gone. Okay, so now let's continue setting up our new theme. Go here to index, themes Daedalus index.js. I'm going to add the red theme. Save. This is just the file that exports the theme output objects, which right now red.js has an empty one. Then I'll come down here to the themes directories index file and give it its name. This is just where we name the themes and export the object. Save. Then one more little piece of configuration. In the gulp file, within this task called prepare themes Daedalus, we need to add red. And what this does is it will strip the theme files of flow types and also allow them to run in a Node.js environment. So it meets the Node.js specifications so that it can run outside the browser. This is specifically for the theme management scripts that run. Those are not being run in the browser. They're being run from the command line. So I have red.js as one of those files that need to be stripped of flow types and configured properly to run in a Node.js environment. Okay, save. All right. Now we have that added. It's added. Let's check out the result. So this is, okay, create theme. What's the result? Right now we got the Cardano theme, and I've already added the red theme to the UI. This is not part of theme management. It's this is a separate thing where we would have to have an icon for each new theme, but I've added this obnoxious red rectangle to represent the red theme. Okay, let's see what we got. So far, so good. So I've imported a wallet here. It has one transaction already. I'm just showing you this so you can see what createTheme is able to generate just given those set of parameters, which are quite simple, really. It even works with the staking screens. You can see that createTheme is set up to create variables for this. Block consolidation status screen. And let's look at the UTXO distribution chart. Looks good. And then you can also see that it's possible to switch to the other themes, and red is incorporated there. So I think that really kind of sums up the power of createTheme. And one more important point that I need to clarify with this is createTheme is not intended to recreate our existing themes. Those already have each CSS variable painstakingly defined with specific color values. And that's fine. We took the time to do that and it's done, so we should definitely keep these. createTheme will be used for generating new themes and new CSS variables. So with that in mind, then I will also show you how to create this red theme output object, which will contain all the CSS variables and color values to generate this red theme. Right now it's still empty, but in order to fill that out, you will use the themes update script, which I will explain how to use in a subsequent video. And I will also use the red theme as the example in that video. All right, thanks guys.